Warning! The following live broadcast may contain loud, obnoxious, shrill, and alarming noises that might be considered disturbing, if not outright uncomfortable to listen to, like that if you happen to have your headphones on too loud. Hold on, actually, let me just check something here. Yes, we are good. Okay, I share my office space with an African gray parrot and two parakeets, and I have no control over their behavior while I am live streaming, unlike my regular videos where I have the opportunity to edit them out as best as I can. If you are sensitive to loud, surprising background noises, I recommend either not turning your volume up too loud or watching my edited, pre-recorded videos instead. I have over 200 videos for you to look through. So yeah, I have a lot of videos that if you want to check out my back catalog. But but in the meantime, viewer discretion is advised. So let's do this here. Bloop. Okay, there we go. Well, hello everybody. Oh my goodness, it's an overcast day today, and here we are at another live stream, Wednesday live stream, trying to keep trying to keep the at least the consistency up for that, So hello. Hello, Jody. Welcome. Oh, you're here early. It's been a while. I know you've been busy at work, so it's nice to see you during the day. So hello there. And yes, and I see you three people watching me from regions beyond. So yeah, so hello, everybody. Like I said, it's another Wednesday, a little overcast. I'm kind of feeling a little low energy today, but it's in keeping with today's topic. So it's technically all contextual. So, so here we're at. So yes. So hello everyone. Take a shot every time I say that. My name is Daphne Lage, and I am a cartoonist, an illustrator, and a comic book artist from New York. I have been self-publishing comics since 1992 because
I got nowhere else to go. I got nowhere else to go.
And I am known for the furry animal fantasy adventure Tall Tales, and currently my medieval fantasy soap opera drama EGORAVEN, Heir of the First Unicorn, launching November 7th on Kickstarter. But we could talk more about that a little bit later. All the links are in the show notes below if you want to hit the notify me button so you get notified when the campaign goes live on November 7th, because you don't want to miss out on any of those first day goodies that go really, really quickly. If you're not there the first day, so I am also, where's my banner? Here we go. I am also co-host with Nina Lanning on the Ragin' 2, the vlogs show, every Monday and Friday at 11 a.m. on the Indie Comics Network. And in the meantime, you can read both my comics online at Tall Tales, TAILS online.com, and egoworks.com, EGOWORKS. Yeah, and you can check out all the videos on how I make my comics here at my channel at Daphne Lage Art. If you're watching me on YouTube, if you're watching me from Twitter, I know I put a link up on Facebook, which brings you to YouTube. So yeah, so if you're watching me here on Daphne Lage Art, also know that my show also simulcasts through the Indie Comics Network. So make sure you like, share, subscribe, hit all the thumbs, and and make the algorithm gods happy. Yeah, and definitely hit the bell so that you get notified whenever my show goes live, or any of our shows on the Indie Comics Network goes live. So there we have it. And yeah, so let's see. Oh, hey Dojo. Hello. Yeah, you like that clip, right? I mean, every time I tell my intro, I always think of that clip. So I figured it was about time I use it. It's about time. So, so Dojo is your campaign for oh my God, I forgot the name. I forgot it's the projectile reptile. Is it still available on Indiegogo right now, or did you close that out already? Because if tell me if it's still going. So what I'll do is I have a whole bunch of links in the show notes of all these cool campaigns that are out there. So if yours is still running, I will put a link to it in the show notes below. So yeah, so if there are any campaigns, crowdfunding campaigns along, after you hit the notify me button on my campaign, head on over to the other links that are in the show notes where you can check out some other campaigns like Pulsetober, like Bloodwing Angel, like The Legend of Sparkle Dog, like Snowpaw, which I think like ends in a couple of hours today. So yeah. Oh, good. So there we go. So yes, so I'll make sure to put a link to Projectile Reptile in the show notes after the show is over, so nobody misses that. So yes, and it's now on demand on Indiegogo. So make sure you check that out if you like westerns, superheroes. Let's say everyone's looking for artifacts and things. It's like you can check out Projectile Reptile. So there you go. I try to be, sir. I try to be. Thank you. Today, a lot going on. For those of you who didn't watch our vlogs on Monday, so I finally got the books in for EGORAVEN Volume 1. This is the, this what you see behind me here, that's the proof that I've had since I think like the beginning of the year. But this is the actual book that everyone is going to be getting. So I've been packing that up. They came on Saturday. I've been packing books up like crazy. I'm trying to get everybody's pledges out by the weekend so I can get the dining room table cleared off because we have Oswald coming soon. We just got the notification from from the printer that all the Oswald books are being printed. So thank you everybody for supporting the EGORAVEN Volume 1 campaign. All your rewards are going out right now. The first couple of batches are already at the post office. I sent the first ones out yesterday. So so if you got if I sent your package out, you would have gotten a tracking number in your email. If you haven't gotten a tracking number yet, you will be getting a tracking number sometime this week. Because like I said, I'm trying to get everything out. And yes, and thank you everybody who are still waiting on your sketch covers for the previous Oswald campaign. JD is going to be packaging them up today, so I will be able to put those in the mail as well, along with my other packages. And speaking of rewards, so far there are 10 of you. There are 10 people who have yet to fill out their surveys. So there's probably a little bit more, but 10 is so far what I've seen. I have your packages put aside. They are packed. They're ready to go. I just need you to fill out those surveys so I can get them out of here. So if you supported my campaign and you hadn't filled out your survey yet, please fill out your survey so you can get your books. You spent a lot of money on them, and I want you to enjoy all your books with all the stretch goal stuff, goodies in there and whatnot. I want everybody to enjoy their stuff, So so if you haven't filled out your surveys yet, please do so I can get your stuff out. So there we go. Oh my God, look at all these split ends. Look at that. It's like I gotta take care of this. But you know what? It's like that. Like I said, it's kind of like it's all related to the theme of the show today. The topic of the show. So yeah, so that's what, so yeah, so I've been busy with that. I've also been busy with catching up with commissions. I have 3 commissions that I'm working on right now. I just want to get the initial sketches out first, before I show them to the commissioners to kind of get like all the final instructions so we can just go ahead with that. And yeah, and it's like just trying to get through issue 7 of EGORAVEN, which is what I will be working on today, once we kind of get through this initial intro part. No, oh yes, I know. Yeah, I did notice that, but thank you for your support anyway, Joe. I know that you're more into individual issues, so I'm looking forward to seeing you on the next campaign for issue 5. So thank you so much for that. Um, so yeah, so like I said, it's like just filling, just doing the fulfillment and whatnot. It's going really well. I think this might be my smoothest fulfillment yet. With each campaign, it gets a little easier. And this time around, it's been especially easier because I changed up the boxes a little bit, because I was dealing with trades, and I decided to go with like regular clamshell boxes. This is at a suggestion from JD Rosario, from Unstoppable Comics, that he was he's always talking about those clamshells, and I thought for the thicker books this might be a better thing for me to use than the usual mailers that I use, the adjustable mailers that I use on my previous campaign. So and it's just really easy. Those boxes are really easy to put together. I plop the package in, put a little paper in to keep it, and then zoop zoop zoop, and that's it. So I'm just really, I'm just really happy with how the fulfillment is going. So that's so that that works out. That's working out for me. But yeah, but the thing is though, is like, so as you can see from my dramatic title, maybe I was being a little bit too melodramatic with the title of today's show. Is your comic schedule killing you? Now of course I'm being completely hyperbolic. And what's really funny was that I learned something the other day, which I thought was pretty funny. I had never heard the term unalive before. And I we did an interview. We did an interview with Visenia on her about her Posttober campaign, and we were talking about her other book, Celestial Pulse. And I guess it's like she used the term unalive with one of her characters. I guess he's a vampire or something, and she was talking about how he was trying to unalive the main character. And I thought that was an interesting word because I had never heard it up until that point. And I thought, oh, it's like, yeah, I guess instead of saying undead, you kind of say unalive, which makes sense for the vampire and whatnot. And I didn't really think much about it, but I thought it's like, oh, that's a really interesting take. On it's like, instead of like the undead, you're unalive, and it's like, oh, okay, very dramatic sounding, right? Until I was watching like this really random video. I think it was like someone had posted up a TikTok or something, and the person in there used the term unalive, but in a completely different context. And now and then it's like when I heard this, like, oh, wait, okay, so the context that I thought about that word was, I guess, kind of wrong, I guess, even though it still fit the context of talking about like vampires or whatnot. But, but in this context, I mean, it was a TikTok about cops, or something. It was like, very not related. And then so I looked up and go, oh, is that like a new slang word that, all the kids are using or whatnot? And it's like, and I was actually pretty surprised to find out that yeah, it's like unalive, the way that it's used online is actually a word used to circumvent censorship bots. So, so I thought that, that was really interesting. So because I guess I know that YouTube, that they, that not only do they have like visual censorship, that they also have audio censorship as well. I'm sure it's, you know, it's kind of like, you know, related technology to finding, you know, to copyright, you know, copyright music and whatnot. Let's see here. Oh, unalive is from Deadpool. Okay, he used it a lot to replace the word kill. And the thing is, and I really do think that it might now, especially in that context, I think that it, you know, it's like, oh, okay, I kind of, you know, believe it more to be like, okay, this is how we get around the censors. Um, so yeah, so I guess that one of, I guess, like the hot words that you're not supposed to be using, I think, I guess, is kill and dead and whatnot, you know, like anything um you know, related to that. So a lot of people are using the word unalive instead. So yeah, I thought that was pretty interesting, you know, to get around, you know, it's like, yeah, it's like how not only does language change with our environment, but you know, it's like that, oh yeah, that we're actually, you know, using changing words in order to get around censorship. And you know, and then it's like, but the thing is that that's not a new thing. Like that this was a thing that was happening since, you know, the 30s, you know, since, you know, everything started. All of a sudden, you know, you had all these censorship uh groups or panels, you know, for movies and whatnot, the Hayes Code and all that. And and people started to find kind of creative ways to get around that, and sometimes it required making up different words. It's like, well, I'm not saying dead, I'm saying unalive, you know, you can't censor that, you know. So I thought that was pretty interesting, a little tangent there. So I don't know whether I should have rewritten my title to say, is your comic schedule unaliving you? You know, so you know, so I thought that was pretty fun. Oh, and also, it's like, what really had me look it up was that Nita had used that word while we were DMing back and forth. It's like, okay, what does this mean? This word means something, you know? And yeah, so that was now that I've heard it. It's like I've never heard it before up until that point. Now I'm hearing it everywhere. So it's just funny how that works out. So yeah, so like I said, yeah, is I was looking at, yeah, so I have, you know, so I'm doing all this work. I'm getting issue 7. I'm working slowly working through issue 7. I'm getting the fulfillment done for volume 1. You know, it's like you know, and I'm also simultaneously preparing for issue 5. um yeah, no, it's like, yeah, it is important to have a schedule, that's for sure. Hey John. You know, it is important to have a schedule. I think like that in and of itself is not the issue. But I think that especially what I was realizing, especially with the way this last campaign did, you know, and then it's like realizing that it's like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have scheduled such another campaign so close to this one at the end of the year, you know. I'm beginning to, and also it's like I've been just seeing some like overall, I don't want to say burnout right now, but the thing is though, that's kind of what I'm feeling at the moment. You know, it's like, because it's like, you know, at the beginning of the year, I had this super aggressive schedule. I mean, it's like it kind of like blew everybody's brains as to, you know, like how much work I was, you know, planning on doing for the year. Um, and and the thing is though, like if I had stuck with my original schedule, I would be getting through issue 8 right now. Like I would be finishing issue 8. Um, but yeah, that's, yeah, I know. It's like I think it's also like the pressure, like the end of the year, kind of like there's this weird pressure that comes once you enter September. It's like, oh, it kind of like, oh snap, we're in the last part of the year, and it is kind of like that's what kind of everything begins to weigh down. on us creatively, and it's like I'm kind of wondering if that's coincidence or not. Because it just seems like that's happening to a lot of people around this time. Um, so yeah, so at the beginning of the year, I had this really hyper aggressive schedule. Had I stuck with it, I would be going through, I would be finishing issue 8 right now, not issue 7. And I think it was around, I think like March, April. I would have to look back on it. I really had this nagging feeling that I had to write a novel on top of everything. So, I don't want to say that that novel threw off my schedule, but it kind of did. But at the same time, I needed to write that novel. So, it's like, so I wrote the novel. It's complete. And so now it's like I'm kind of like, okay, trying to get back into where I was before the novel, but I've been having like a really really hard time um getting back to that mindset. Before I was like going, no, you have to write this novel. um and yeah, I mean, yeah, it's like, especially, I mean, I would hope you're getting paid for it. I mean, it's like, yeah, it's like you're doing all these commissions, and it's like, you start have to, it's like, yeah, you want to make sure your bills are paid, right? And yeah, and that's also something else too, that it's like, you it's like, so I had, it's like, you don't, which is kind of the point where it's like, I had this schedule that it's like, okay, this is what I would be doing if everything worked optimally, right? If everything went according to plan, this is where I would have been. Right. But here's the thing, right? The best laid plans are not necessarily the best plans to get laid, right? That's how that works. So what happened? It's like I had luck. I mean, fortunately for me, it was just a novel that threw me off, not health issues. But the thing is, though, is that just goes to show you that anything can throw you off. You can have the best laid out schedule, but anything can come in and completely like throw you off. I don't want to use the word wreck, because it's like, what are you wrecking really in terms of, it's like, okay, you just have to move projects around. So um but and like I said, I don't, yeah, it's like, I don't regret writing the novel. Absolutely not. Yeah, of course, writing a novel is a big deal. I absolutely don't regret it. I was just printing out another hard copy that I'm going to send to Nita, because like her printer's acting up, so it was just easier if I just printed out myself. I mean, in the end, it made sense to me that it's like, oh, that seems fair enough. If I want her to read over my manuscript, I should be the one sending her the manuscript. So I made a printout for her. I'm going to send it out to her. So hopefully, we can get that part of the process done. But the thing is, though, it's like, while I was printing it out, I got caught up in rereading it again. So I guess that's a good sign when, if you can get caught up. It's like you just read a couple of lines, and before you know it, you're reading all the way to the end of the manuscript again. Um, so so yeah, so I don't regret that part at all. But like I said, it's like, what kind of bothered me was, and mind you, this wasn't even counting the panic attack that I had before the novel came up, because I had already felt kind of like a slowdown, and it's like, holy crap, I'm not going to be able to meet my arbitrary deadlines, and I kind of had, kind of like a little panic attack over it. Nita walked me off, talked me off the edge. And then it's like, okay, I'm just going to do this and that, and then all of a sudden, poof, you got to write a novel. And it's like, okay, here's where it's like, you know what, this is where I'm at, you know um and the thing is that now, after I finished the novel, I've been trying to chase where I was before that point. And it's been rough. I mean, but here's the thing, though. It's like, is the roughness all in my head? That's the thing, because it's like, what am I, it's like, what am I really complaining about? So I'm doing fulfillment, right? And it's like for a little bit, for a couple of days, it was kind of got a little hairy because there was a delay in shipping my books. And I was afraid that, oh, if they delay it, like they delayed the Tall Tales volumes, it's going, my fulfillment is going to overlap with my next campaign. I'm going to have to push that campaign up a week or, however I need to do it. And that's not what happened. And, and then it's like, I'm like going, now it's like, I'm trying to get through fulfillment. And it's like, and that's kind of hitting me that it's like, oh crap, my campaign is actually launching in like 3 weeks, about 3 weeks, and it's like, oh my God, it's like, I barely got this one finished. It's barely out the door. And already it's like, I have another one, like zooming on top of me. And then it's like, that kind of had me thinking, it's like, maybe I shouldn't have put in a campaign at the end of the year. So, the thing is, so you guys know that I have my little checklist, and this is my to-do list. And, I've been slowly going through it. It's like, as you can see, things are getting marked off. So, I'm, it's like, I'm very, looming. Yeah. It's like, what did I say? Yeah. You see, that just goes to, yes, looming, zooming. I'm about ready to get steamrolled by it. Yes. All the adjectives, it's like, whatever my schedule is doing, that's what it's doing. Whatever, so I've been slowly getting through my checklist, but of course the key word here being slowly. Like I said, if I had stuck with my schedule the way I originally wanted it, that I'd be on issue 8 right now, and I would have been sending out, and I'd be looking at sending out proofs at the beginning of the year. Well, that's I had to kind of give up on that idea, right? So, like I said, issue 5 campaign coming up, right? Then I have issue 6. I have it flatted. I just need to color it and color correct it, shade it in, and then it's completed. It's already lettered. Working on issue 7 now, like these books, and then it's like I have partial layouts for issue 8. So here's my calendar that my little schedule calendar that I'm keeping, that I try not to stare at too much. But like, so for this year, right? I did 1, 2, 3, 4. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4 campaigns this year. And and it's like, which doesn't sound like a lot. I mean, considering that the year before we were cramming it, like I said, I think like between me and JD, we did like 12 or 14 campaigns. I mean, it was nuts, so, it's like, okay, so I'm going to have 4 campaigns this year. And mind you, and that's after squeezing in EGORAVEN 5, because I thought I needed one more campaign this year. And mind you, and this is on top of doing EGORAVEN 6 through 8, which I'm in the process of. And whatever other little things, and what other little things that I have to do. It's like life doesn't always work on a schedule. Actually, life doesn't work on a schedule. It just exists, and then you just have to work around it. You do what you can. Yeah, no, in the allotted time that you can't afford to block out. So that's the thing. So 4 campaigns this year, right? Kind of regretting the 4th campaign, honestly. But you know what? It's done. It's on the docket. We're going to do it. We're going to, it's going to be fine, So it's like, okay. So I looked at my schedule for 2023, and let's just say I am full of regret on this, and it's probably going to see some changes. So for 2023, talk about a combination of ambitious and stupid. I literally scheduled out 6 campaigns for next year after barely being able to handle 4 this year. So this schedule is going to have to change. So what I had, so it's like, because what I had wanted was for next year to get EGORAVEN 6, 7, and 8 out so that I can get the second trade paperback, right? And then I wanted to do Peacekeepers and then another Tall Tales. I have 3 Tall Tales, 3 EGORAVEN for next year. That's just by looking at this, I go, that is not goddamn happening. Even though I have a month, I have about like 4 weeks in between each campaign. And I'm looking at the calendar right now and I'm like going, no way. I can't do this. This is too tight because the way I have, because it's like from December, after the EGORAVEN 5 ends in December, I gave myself 4 more weeks to fulfill. And then I have Tall Tales Peacekeepers trade for January. And already it's like, look, it's going to be the holidays. Well, I'm probably not going to be able to get my books in time because everyone's going to have the holiday slowdown. And so I don't want to end up fulfilling on top of another campaign, launching a campaign while I'm still fulfilling one or still waiting. And so already it's like, okay, for next year, I'm not going to do it now, but I really do have to rethink what I want to do for next year. I mean, because in the end, like EGORAVEN Volume 2 was scheduled for 2024 anyway. So does it matter if, maybe issue 8 comes out in 2024 as well? It's like, what can I move over? Here we go. So John says, I figure my production schedule allows me to complete 52 pages a year. 2 campaigns a year. But you're 73. Yes, and happy birthday, sir. Yes, happy birthday to your new upgrade. I mean, yeah, well, thank you, Nina. But it's, so this is just like too much. I mean, and it's getting, and mind you, it's like, not only am I running campaigns, I'm still doing the books. I still have to put the books together. I still have to do side projects. There's a lot of other stuff that I need to do. It's like, and the thing is that what I've also, noticed too, is that, I've been neglecting other things as well. It's like, it's like, I know my mother's going to kill me on this, but it's like, it's like the house isn't as clean as I usually like it. It's like that pretty much I've been neglecting. It's like, it's actually, that's kind of like the overall theme of the house is casual neglect, it's like I've only been really cleaning recently because I'm having a slight vermin problem and I've been trying to like catch this little bastard. So 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 I've been like moving furniture and trying to, I completely hosed down the kitchen, trying, it's, like really it had to be something dramatic for me to get out of it, to be okay, I have to spend time doing this, so that's how I ended up with a really, really clean kitchen the other day, so it's like this, so it's like, it's like, this just, I just haven't been like really like this weekend, I really have to take a couple of hours and clean. Oh, maybe for me, that's not really a good analogy. Because that's also one of the things that I've been neglecting. It's like I've been really neglecting my my training regimen. I've really been neglecting that. I did sign up for a 5K in a couple of weeks to kind of try to force me back onto that schedule. because I do want to get back up to half marathon, fitness, I guess, to be able to run a half marathon again. Um, so yeah, I've been neglecting that. I mean, it's like, and look at this, look at these split ends. Jesus Christ. I mean, it's like, I was supposed to have like a haircut months ago, and I haven't even been doing that. It's like, I really have to, like, just get this taken care of. My hair is not supposed to be this long, but this is, kind of like a timeline of like what I haven't been doing just to be able to get more work done. And here's the thing too. It's like the books are coming out. You guys know that. It's like I'm working on the books, slowly getting through them. You know, but it's just getting to a point where it's like, okay, at what point is my schedule not feasible? Like, it's not realistic, you know? Because it's like, if I'm kind of grinding myself down, um, what difference does it make, right? It's like, yeah, it's, so yeah, so that's kind of like my thoughts going on right now, that it's like, that I have to accept the fact that I'm doing these pages slower, that I'm not going to finish them as quickly as I would like. However, here's the ironic thing about it. I'm still ahead. And it's like, and as long as I stay ahead, that's all I need to do. Even if I'm finishing up, like if I decide to color issue 8, to finish coloring issue 8 a month before its Kickstarter launches. If waiting until the last minute, kind of like the last minute to do that, gives me the time to kind of get ahead on other stuff and then like slowly get back. It's like, as long as I have the books done before a campaign launches, I mean, that should be okay, right? So, like I said, I'm working on issue 7 right now. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to, because we're just a little bit past the half hour, and I know that you guys are here, to watch me draw and, to share along with that as well, So what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw a bump. We're going to transfer over to the drawing table. And let's get some work done, and we'll continue this conversation as I'm drawing. And also this time I'm going to remember to put the music on. Last time, I'll show these. I'll catch up with the chat when we come back. Last time I had the music on, but I had forgot to share it through StreamYard. So I'm sitting here like a dick listening to music when you guys couldn't hear anything. So this time we're going to make sure the music plays. So, so I'm going to play a bump, and then we're going to transfer over to the table, and we'll be right back.
We are the only show for independents all around, giving you a platform to spread your word all over town. Cast the Craze is the place to promote to your fans with the dream of Medina and Sam the Crazy Man. Subscribe to our show and never miss an episode. It's time to get your mans, listen to us on the go. Updated every week, we never miss a day. Join the squad, come on in. It's time to catch the craze. If you are an independent, catch the craze. Making moves on your own, catch the craze. On your grind in the streets, catch the craze. Join the movement, catch the craze.
Yeah, George, we did it again. Come on now. You know you want to do it. Catch the craze.
Okay, there we are. Okay, there. Okay. It's like I got to remember to unmute myself too. So yeah, so let me get the music going. Yeah, so let's see. And okay, and let's get our little banner going. Okay, good. So we got all that. And okay, as promised, let me check up here. Let's see. Yes, the running the marathon. For me, it is, getting back to literally running a marathon. Yeah, it's a casual neglect, not hoard. Yeah, exactly. It's not hoarders shit. I mean, although maybe the dining room table looks like that with all the fulfillment stuff, but you know, yeah, it's like, yeah, it's we need just to vacuum a little bit. Let's see. It's like I've been up. Yes, yeah, getting. You see, and that's the thing too. It's not like at least it's like I still go to. No, actually, no. Let me not lie. I have been going to bed late as well. I mean, because usually I'm supposed to be in bed by 10, but I don't know. It's like I've just been staying up until midnight trying to get stuff done, and that's really affecting my ability to wake up properly as well. If it wasn't for the cat, I probably would be sleeping in until noon. I swear. It's like, but instead, it's like I have the cat, making sure I get up so that he gets his wet food. So, there's that. Yeah. Nita is, doing her thing too. Um, it's all good, Nita. It's all good, Nita. I know what it feels like. So yeah. Cyborg John Celestri. Ooh, there we go. Well, yeah. So there we go. Oh, here we go. Yeah, I'm still in a dilemma in not allowing people make me antisocial. Well, yeah, so much less drama when I don't engage some people in conversation. Well, yeah, it's like that's a whole other thing too, because honestly, I think drama also leads to burnout as well. It's like, because it's like I'm at a point where it's like, look, if you can't do nothing about it, I don't need to know about it. It's like, yes, I've been seeing your sketches too. So yes, that's also a good way to kind of get back into the groove of things with the accountability sketching. Yeah. So here we are. This is issue 7, page 11. I mean, I would have liked to have been nearer to page 16 by now, or at least past page 16. But honestly, like I said, it's just getting to a point where, look, as long as I'm ahead, I'm just have to accept where I'm at right now, because yeah, it's like, like it's just been a lot. It's been a lot. It's like I'm like, on one hand, I feel like I'm racing something. Like, oh my God, I have to get this stuff done. I have to get this stuff done. But at the same time, it's like, in the end, it's like, look, I can only worry about what's in front of me. I can only worry about what I'm doing now. It's like, look, my ceiling can collapse on me right now and make all of this moot. I mean, it's like I have there's nothing to anticipate that. So it's like, I can't live in the future, if that makes any sense. It's like, what's past is past, and the future hasn't been written yet. All I know is what's now. And I can't, yeah. And it's like, by me worrying so much about this schedule, but my scheduling, and worrying about, like, getting future Kickstarters done, I'm living in the future. When I really should be worried about what I'm doing at this moment. And, and it's kind of like, I don't know. It's kind of weird because also I think what like a part of it is that it's like it's like I kind of feel like I've spent a lot of time, like too much time listening to people say it's like, oh, you're not doing enough, you're not doing enough, you're not doing enough. It's like, because you know how it is. Like you watch all these like stupid gurus and shit on a YouTube where it's like, oh, it's like if you're not constantly grinding, you're lazy and shit like that. And it's like, and there comes a point where that kind of internalizes, and I'm like going, wait a minute. It's like, I'm doing a lot here, and and it's like, and it's kind of like, especially recently, it's just been feeling like, I mean, what's really funny is that, even, it's like even personally, it felt like, like I was always coming across people saying, oh, you're not doing enough. You're not doing enough. Oh, your Kickstarter did this, but you didn't do that. So you're not doing it right. You're not doing enough. So it's like, oh, you're not doing this, so you're not doing that, so which means you're not doing enough. So it was always like this, like holy crap, like okay. So it's like I want to push my Kickstarter to the next level, and then I have to do this, that, and the other thing, and it's still like it just got to a point where it's like, it never felt enough. And then all of a sudden, here's the funny thing: it got to a point where all of a sudden I started hearing, maybe you're doing too much. It's like, oh, you're working all the time. It's like, oh my God, you're working all the time. It's like, don't you ever take a day off? And I'm like, going, a day off for what? I'm not bricklaying. It's like, I mean, so it's like all of a sudden, all the noise went from you're not doing enough to you're doing too much. And then it's like, so if you really want to confuse somebody, right? You see, and the thing is, though, is that, it's like, especially these last 2.5 years, it's been almost 3 years now, right? I mean, it's like, if we're talking about March 2020, so March 2021, 22, yeah, it's almost, so it's like, yeah, so March 2023 would make, yes, it was, so we're I think, we're close to 3 years on this shit, and yeah, I've never felt like I've accomplished so much except in these past like 3 years. And because I keep talking about how, like, if I have a regret in comics, is that I took so long on Tall Tales. I mean, that it's like that, that I took so long to do it. And that, honestly, I kind of regret not finishing Tears of the Mother before I started EGORAVEN, but, that's done, right? I mean, it's like that's water under the bridge now. It's like I'm 7 issues into EGORAVEN, and I still have 2 issues left to go on Tears of the Mother for Tall Tales. So that's just what it is. I just have to, figure out how to accomplish all this, right? So, so the thing is, though, is that, so all of a sudden I find myself on this momentum, right? Let's see, here we go. When you compare what you were doing to what others, yeah, exactly. You just have to worry about what you need to accomplish and what you're doing. And then, like, Dojo says, I lament being unable to draw them myself. Yeah, that's true too. I mean, I see it with JD when he's getting pages or waiting for pages for Oswald. He's constantly, like, okay, they're late with their update. they're late with their update. I'm supposed to have pages now, and then it's like he paces the house. You know, it's like I'm supposed to have pages. I'm supposed to have pages. It's like, yeah, it's like you know, it's like, yeah, it's a different kind of stress. You know, even if you're not drawing this yourself, because you still have to depend on other people to get your work done. You know, so I found myself on this, having this momentum where it's like, it's like, oh, I've never done this much work in such a short amount of time, and it's like, how do I keep that going? And that's the thing. It's like, I don't know. I think maybe on a certain level, I'm afraid that if I slow down, that I'll end up where I was before, where I'm doing an issue a year. And I definitely don't want to go back to that. Especially since I have no reason to do an issue a year. I mean, I work from home. It's like I don't go anywhere, but at the same time, it's like, okay, but I don't need to finish the entire series in a year either. You know what I mean? It's like, it's like I can, so far the way it's looking, it's like, okay, so I can finish every 3 months. Every 3 months, I can finish an issue. So is that really a bad thing if I'm doing everything myself? It's like, yeah, okay, I don't have a team of assistants and shit, but if I'm doing everything myself and that's what I'm able to accomplish, right? That's I mean, that's the thing. It's like I've never, up until this whole, I guess, perfect storm, I never felt I was accomplished. That's the thing. It's kind of weird. It's like it wasn't until everything happened that it's like, holy crap, I can get this stuff done faster. But yeah, like I said, now I'm wondering if it's really to my detriment right now. Because I mean, when we went to Orlando a couple of weeks ago, I mean, I was telling JD, Jose, that it was the first time in years that I've been on a vacation and actually felt relaxed. Like, it felt like I was on vacation, because for the previous 3 years, I would go on vacation and some fucking shoe would drop. And then I would have to deal with that shit on my vacation. So it would completely ruin. I mean, and then it didn't become a vacation anymore because now I had some bullshit to take care of. This was the first time that it's like, no, this is going to be a vacation. If anything happens, everyone is going to have to take care of it until I get back. I don't want to hear about it. I don't want it. It's like nothing, And that's exactly what happened. It's like I made that boundary. I made it a very strict boundary. And all of a sudden, nobody had a crisis during my vacation. It was amazing. It was amazing how that worked. So I actually was able to enjoy myself very, these past, that on that last vacation. So, oh, okay, I did that wrong. Yeah, you see, I inked something in that I wasn't supposed to. You see that this was these pages. These pages that I'm working right now. They're a little deceptively simple because it's not really. It's because what it is like there's a lot of like special effects on these pages, and inking them has been a little challenging because it's like I'm also thinking about, okay, I have to ink this in a way that it'll make it easy for me to do what I need to do when I go into Photoshop with it. So let's see, what am I doing here? Okay, so yeah, so already it's like, okay, now I remember why I made these gaps. Yeah, okay, there we go. Okay, that's yeah, because I completely forgot what I was doing on these pages. So it's like, yeah, there's special effects in here, and I want to make sure I keep the inking in a way where I'll be able to do that. Although honestly, I have no idea how I'm going to do the special effects that I'm kind of imagining for this page. There we go. Yeah, that's the funny thing. It's like, especially with these new issues, it's like because I have like a different style now compared to the first 5 issues. So it just requires me to think a little bit, like to be a little bit more conscious of what I'm putting on the paper. Right, I'll go back in and fix that because that's not right either. Oh, you know what? I could put another one here. You see, because I'm supposed to put an outline on this little spot right here. So I'm just going to draw it again here. Since it's all black anyway, I'm going to do that and then cover this one up. There we go. Problem solved. What's funny is that looks a little big. So there we go. That much better, much better. I didn't need something. I didn't need one that big. There we go. You know, and then that's like what I'll do is just fix it in Photoshop. Yeah, people. Yeah, it's like I enjoy that. I enjoy seeing. Yeah, it's like you can especially see that in Tall Tales. Like the first 3 issues are very different. Then you hit issue 4, and that's where you see my art style jump. And I think with EGORAVEN, you're definitely going to see that between 5 and 6. Issue 5 is the last issue that, like, I think I inked out that issue in 2017. Like, that's how far back it goes. The layouts that I did for issue 6 and 7, I also did back in 2017, if not a little earlier. And so, yeah, so it's like, this is kind of like a combination. So in the end, this is kind of like a combination of 2 styles. You know, like the way I laid out stuff back in 2017, like I said, if not earlier, and combined with how I pencil things now and how I ink things now. So, That's why issue 8, I think, is probably that one is going to be the real test of something. I don't know what, but it feels like it's a test of everything that I've learned up until this point, because it's issue 8 is the first issue that I'm doing everything right now. It's like the layouts are new, they're current, the inking is going to be current, the pencils is going to be current. Like that is going to be really like this is a 2022 book, and I know layout wise, I'm already seeing a difference. And like layout wise, I'm not like, I don't know. It's like I've kind of, with Tall Tales, you kind of see the Todd McFarlane Image Comics influence, and how I laid out the panels, and that kind of carried over to EGORAVEN a bit. But it's getting to a point where it's like I'm now more focused on clarity rather than pomp and circumstance. Like if I had done this exact same page, if I if I had done this page while I was doing Tall Tales, it would have been like, all everything is skewed and lots of jagged outlines and things like that. And now it's like no, it's I want it to be more straightforward. I want the layout to be more straightforward and more readable. I don't want to clutter up the story with kind of like unnecessary like visual babble, I guess that it would be safe to call it that. So I've actually gotten what I've noticed, especially when I was doing the layouts for issue 8, that I've gotten more conservative with how I do my pages, which is pretty interesting for me to see, to realize that it's like, yeah, it's like I like, okay, it's like, yeah, it's like, yeah, all right, it's like maybe like, yeah, I don't know, I just don't have the patience for stupid looking panels, for stupid looking layouts, for the sake of of faking something dynamic, as opposed to having something actually happen on the page. Let me fix this. I'm not liking this. Okay. So if there's a big change that I've noticed as I'm going along, is that I mean, whether it's a good thing or not, I'm not sure. All I know is that it kind of, that it fits more what I'm trying to do with the pages. I'm just trying to be more simple, more clear, with my imagery. So yeah, so issue 8 is going to be, I think, like my next stylistic jumping point. I really do think so. I'm just looking on the screen to make sure I didn't miss anything. Yeah. Let me see. Does that really come back to your storytelling influences? I find myself looking more at how layouts were done in 50s and 80s comics than anything else. I'm not sure. I'm not sure because, because what's funny is that, like, depending on who drew Conan, right? The comics, um, the layouts weren't exactly innovative. Let's just say that. I mean, there's a lot of like pages in Conan where it's just literally a 9-panel grid. And it still pretty much gets the point across, that they're telling a Conan story. And then it's like, I'm also thinking of Mobius, when I was reading the Incal, and like how simple his panel layouts were, and there's a lot of visual cues that I took from Mobius. That's for sure. Like the two things that I learned from Mobius and Milo Manara. Mobius gave me permission to use dots for eyes because Mobius did that all the time. And Milo Manara taught me that it was okay to use dots for noses. So, but, in terms of like, and that's the thing too, like even Milo Manara didn't have like innovative panel layouts or anything. So, let me see. Standard panel layouts make the layout invisible and the story takes center page where it should be. Yes, exactly. You shouldn't need gimmicks. The masters don't. Right. Yeah. I think that's what it is. I think, a gimmick is that's a good word. Thank you, Renato. That's kind of how I felt, like I ended up realizing when I outgrew the image style, like how much of that was just a gimmick rather than important to anything. So and yeah, and it's like, yeah, like I said, it's like Mobius didn't need all that, that overbearing, type of layout. Milo Manara certainly didn't. And it's like, actually, now that I think about it, it's like, that's actually not something that I see in European comics in general. They're not really into that type of style. They're just very straightforward with their panel layouts and everything. I mean, even like, like Oscar Martin, who does Solo, which I think Dark Horse is printing. I'm not sure. I know they're printing Black Sad. Dark Horse is printing Black Sad, which again is another book that doesn't really have it's like not not everything not everything works for everything. Especially like with your style, Joe. I wouldn't recommend the dots for noses because I think that there's a certain realism that you're trying to do with your style that doing something really simplistic as dots for noses wouldn't work. Which is kind of ironic, thinking about Milo Manara, because it's like, talk about a guy who's very realistic with his artwork, but it's kind of like there's a certain simplicity, there's a certain cartoony element to it that allows him to do that. And like my artwork is very cartoony as well. So that allowed me, I was able to get away with that. Eventually I will learn how to draw noses properly, but right now we're getting all dots for noses, and it works, Oh, hello, Melissa. Hello. Congratulations on your Kickstarter ending on a good note. So yeah, so The Alchemist of Aurelia. So yeah, so I guess now it's just all about fulfilling, isn't it? Like the rest of us, right? But thank you. Yeah, I try to mix up the streams a bit, trying to do like different things. But yes, today is definitely a comic page stream. That's for sure. So yeah, so that's kind of where I'm kind of like at creatively. With my pages, yeah, just trying to like simplify. Like another place that I know that I really try to simplify is the lettering. I do have the lettering, what's it called, the Essential Guide to Comic Book Lettering by Nate Pecos, I think it is Pecos. Like I can see the spine here on the shelf, but I can't quite see the entire thing. And I really have to, like I've been going through. I mean, I've been following this guy's work, when he would post his free tutorials and stuff. So I was already very familiar with how, how he letters and whatnot. But like even my lettering is all about simplicity and readability. I don't know. It's like the older I get, the more I start catering things to my own shitty eyesight. So it's like, so if I can if I feel comfortable reading it, then I'm pretty sure most people can as well. Oh, here we go. My style shifted to a bit more gritty. Oh, okay. More Frank Miller and Kevin Eastman. Oh, there. Yeah, I mean, yeah, yeah, I mean, it's like, I don't know. I guess our work, our styles will go where they're meant to go. Okay, yeah. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, like you see this nib right here. It is very rare. Before this was like a predominant pen, right? This nib size. But now I very rarely use it. It's like now it's all about, like bold lines and not getting too noodly or niddly with the details. Like I said, it's all about with issue 6, when I put all the pages together and I did kind of like a thumbnail for Facebook just to show it off as a whole. I was very pleased with how I felt the pages were still readable at that size, at how small it was, because the inking I had, my inking was bold enough. That's like, oh, I could really see the artwork still. Like nothing feels like it's getting lost. So I was very pleased with that. So, that I'm still making sure that it's like, yeah, it's just like the simpler the better, I guess, in both style and schedule. But yeah, though, it's like that was like a thing that it's like I looked at I looked at my schedule for next year and I go, no, it can't stay this way. Okay, so now I remember what I was about to say about the lettering. because it's like, even with the lettering, like I said, it's all about like readability. And it's like, I'm not really interested in like special effects for lettering and whatnot, because I see like a lot of people that they use, that they color in the word balloons and the lettering, and then they do special fonts and this, that, and the other thing. I think the most obnoxious lettering thing, is when a character gets introduced for the first time and their name is a logo of their name instead of them just saying their name. Jose told me that was just that's a Marvel thing that some people continued using, but it's the stupidest shit, and I hate it, because it's like, you're reading logo, and it's like, come on, it's like, just say the name, because because what it is kind of like the equivalent of screaming, and it's like, like if everything is in all caps, or so, how everything is all caps and a text, and it's like, why are you screaming at me? And it's kind of like the same thing whenever I'm just reading something, and then all of a sudden the name's logo, like that the name turns into a logo. It's like, you're not only screaming, but you're using an air horn, oh, that would help. Yes, definitely. Definitely. That's not, yeah. I the logo thing is so dumb looking. It's, yeah, I understand why people want to make their comics look mainstream, but at the same time, it's like, just because the mainstream is doing it doesn't mean you have to do it too. I mean, yeah, they're just some, yeah, I just like, I just really don't like those. I like to keep my lettering as clean as possible, as uncluttered as possible. I just want to be able to read, combine it with the artwork and put everything together the way it's supposed to. And, and it's like, and not have too many frills. Oh. Yeah, but let's see. Oh. Okay, luckily this is black here, so I can just fix that. Okay, there we go. There we go. There, I'll fix that more when I get to the other layers. Right. So yeah, so I just like took a quick look at my schedule for next year, and it's like, I'm going, no, I can't do that. I can't do 6 campaigns. I can't. I mean, it's like I said, it's like I'm doing 4 this year, and I'm, like I said, it's like I regret squeezing in that last one, but it's committed to, so we're doing it. But next year I really have to rethink it, and honestly, it's like it's probably going to start in January. Honestly, like I'm kind of wondering whether, like, I shouldn't start any campaigns next year until March. Just have February, like January and February, to kind of like regroup, and and just like contemplate the rest of the year, and then start the next campaign in March. And then, instead of putting everything on a schedule, just campaign, fulfill. During fulfillment, we do the launch page, and then once fulfillment is done, then we launch the next campaign. Like, not have like any set dates, but just, okay, the next campaign starts when the previous campaign is completely finished fulfillment. Because I think that way I'm not putting so much pressure on myself if, like, things get delayed or like if something gets misprinted and I need to get it reprinted again and I'm not that's kind of what I'm thinking of doing. Like like there's still going to be that launch page. The launch page says I'm just going to not have an actual date. So I think that what that'll do is I think that will really show the importance on signing up on the launch page. Because, I don't know exactly when I'm launching it. I just know I'm launching it soon. And if you don't want to miss anything, you have to be on the launch page. That's kind of where I'm thinking. So now the trick is just to decide what campaigns I'm going to do for next year. Like I said, it's like maybe, issue 8, if I'm not going to have volume 2 next year, I can move issue 8 to 2024. Now the thing is though, here's the thing too that kind of also bothers me, that also really bothers me, is that, by doing that, by having a more relaxed schedule, it means that it's going to take me longer to put out the series. And I'm not sure if that's a good thing or not. Where it's like, where I would have had the series, where I'd wanted the series completely done by 2025. It might be 2026. Maybe 2027, and I'm really not liking those numbers. Like, even though I said that I'm not supposed to be living in the future, that's like, that might be a little too far away for me. That sounds, like, I don't know if I want to wait until 2027 to finish EGORAVEN, or 2026. Like, so here's the thing, but here's the thing though, I think that the actual drawn out books would be finished before then. That's the thing. It's like I'm already on issue 7 out of, it's like I'm just under halfway done through the series. It's like it's going to be either a 15, it's like, I know that I said 15 issues, right? But yeah, well, you see that? Yeah, mangakas, it's a totally different animal. They're nuts. I mean, look, these people die at their tables. I really don't want to do that. Yeah. But yeah, that's true too. I mean, it's like they're talking about, it's, it's a completely different animal, and again, it's like the mangakas usually have a whole team of people working on their books too. Oh, hi Patrick, by the way. So so it's kind of like a whole, it's different. But it's like, so that's kind of the dilemma that I'm in. It's like, okay, it's like, do I really want to take that long? Releasing. You see, that's the thing. Like I said, the pages, it's like I said, I'm already one issue under halfway. Once I'm on issue 8, we're halfway through the series. And next year is like a 9, 10, 11, 12, and and whatever I can get out, and then so the thing is okay, what are my options with that then? If I want to finish the series sooner rather than later, what are my options, right? What are my options? And the only other option that I have with that is releasing 2 issues at a time as opposed to 1. So, next year, maybe, depending on how soon I get issue 8 done, do I want to release 6 and 7 together and then 8 and 9? Do I want to do that? Do you guys want me to do that? That's the thing. It's like, if I were to offer up 2 issues at a time, it's like, what am I gaining and what am I losing, by doing that? And and the thing is that, okay, so why do I want to put these issues out faster? Why is finishing this series so important? And the thing is, it's because I do have all these other stories I want to tell. I want to continue these stories. Like I said, I have the novel that's supposed to come after issue 15. And but should I wait until issue 15 is done? Or once I get the novel done, which, like I've said before, it will probably take me about another year to finish it, because it has to go through the editing process and the rereading process, and then I have to start doing all the illustrations for it. Or should I just offer up that book on whatever campaign is coming out next? Well, yeah, it's like, yeah, you see, that's the thing. I mean, that's what I'm trying to balance here. It's like, do I do a longer work schedule? I mean, do I stretch out the schedule, or do I just offer things as I have them? Like I said, for the next campaign, next EGORAVEN campaign, not the one coming up, the one after, do I offer up 6 and 7 at the same time? Am I cutting myself off at the ankle if I do that? Or at the knee, or wherever you get cut off at? Because here's the thing too. Individual issues make more money than trade paperbacks. Or at least that was the idea, until my last trade paperback kind of blew that out of the water. But the thing is, though, technically, individual issues make more money. So if I were to offer up 2 issues, would I be doubling my money or making the same money on 2 issues? Right? Because in the end, I mean, it's like, I don't want to boil it down to money, but the thing is, though, that's important too, because it's like, the more money I make on these campaigns, the less I have to sweat being able to afford to continue, doing the work. I mean, bills still got to get paid whether I do this or not. So, so that's something that I was kind of thinking about too. Well, yeah, that's true too. Yeah, as long as I'm outputting regularly, there exists the option of training the fan base. That's true. And getting them used to a specific schedule. Yeah, that's true. I mean, I have, I have that ability to do that to a certain extent. That, and I don't know, maybe people will appreciate the breather between issues, between campaigns, right? Instead of like knowing that, holy shit, she's going to be putting out a campaign every 2 months, right? It's like, well, what if I put out a campaign every 3 months? It's like, yeah, it's like, like Or what if I just put out 3 campaigns a year? You know, what if I do that? But what if I offer more per campaign? You know, that's the thing that I'm trying to figure out. You know, it's like is that an like that would be feasible for me? Could I, like, instead of offering up, you know, like I said, issues 6 and 7, putting them out together, you know, or, you know, it's like, you know, and then it's like, you know, 8 and 9, you know, or 8 and the trade paperback, right? It's like, so you get issue 8 and the trade paperback on the same campaign. Like, would people would like, you know, would that, you know, would that be more feasible, you know, for the schedule? Do less campaigns, but offer up more for the campaigns. And here's the ironic thing about it. If I were to do that, technically that would give me more time to actually work on the things to offer. So, because it's like, and I wouldn't be interrupted, I guess, with a campaign. You know, so it's like I could just like, okay, so the next campaign is for 8 and 9, so let me do 8 and 9 together, and not have to worry about, you know, having, oh, there's a campaign in the middle of that, and I have to stop everything, and I have to do that, or whatnot. And the thing is, though, is that I could get 3 campaigns pre-approved on Kickstarter for the year, and you know, and then it's like, okay, so I'll have the campaigns pre-approved, and then all I have to do is just finish the work and then finish the campaigns as I'm working, because there's no set date. So it's like, okay, as long as I have the pre-launch going, you know, and it's like I can fix the campaign as I go along, and then just make sure to have it completely ready by the time I'm ready to launch. This is what I do to myself. I swear to God, you know, it's like, you know, I mean, that's, yeah, that it's like, you know what, like, yeah, like those would be my options. Do less campaigns, but offer more, you know? So it's like, so what if, you know, so I have the Peacekeepers campaign, right? You know, what if, I don't know. It's like, I don't know, the Peacekeepers campaign kind of like, that should be by itself, you know, because technically it is a one shot. So, I'm kind of laggy on the screen here. It's probably just the camera, because my main camera is okay, but this one's kind of laggy. So I don't know. So I don't know. It's like, any thoughts on that? Let me see. Yeah, no. That's what I was kind of like feeling at. I like I said, I do not want to live that mangaka life. I want the mangaka assistance, but not the mangaka life. Yeah, and I think so. You're right, and I think you have a point there too. Yeah. Oh, here we go. I mean, after all, people are willing to wait for Christmas to roll around once a year because they know it's coming and will arrive. Right, it doesn't change. And on schedule, so they're willingly wait with anticipation. So yeah, I think that, yeah. Well, it's like, yeah, well, I mean, thank you. But like I said, it's now kind of like becoming an issue for me. But that's the thing, though. It's like, you know, because the reason why we're able to do such fast turnarounds is because the work is done. You know, so it's literally like the campaign ends. We give it a couple of days just to deflate, it's like, that post-campaign deflation. And then I put the files together, and then by Monday or something, that everything is sent out at the printers so that everything is out. So then like 2 weeks later, I'm supposed to, I pretty much get everything back, and then everything's out. Yeah. I mean, no, I get it. It's like, yeah. And that's kind of where I'm at too, where it's like, like doing 4 campaigns. Well, Peacekeepers is a one shot in terms of it has all 3 issues in it. It's going to be a trade paperback. So here's the original. Here, let me show this. So here's the original Peacekeepers that we did, that it has all 3 issues in it. And what we're doing is that I'm reformatting this. I'm redoing the cover, and we're going to be doing this comic book size. So, just to show you the difference. So we're going to be doing it comic book size, and I'm just re-releasing it in a new format. So, and it's kind of like the official format now, pretty much. So Peacekeepers is technically 1 volume. So it's like, we're not, as far as we're at Peacekeepers, that's it. We did the 3 issues. We did the little 5-page special, and that was pretty much it. So we're just putting it in just kind of like an official format, for the series as we're putting it together. It's like, I mean, to go back to what Melissa said, it's like, it's like, she finds it tough to do 2 a year, and it's like, okay, I'm doing 4 this year. I have 1 more campaign coming up, and I'm kind of like, this is too much. For me, it's like, for the amount of work, it's like, how your pants kind of start pinching, so I gotta, well, it's like, we have a lot going on. I mean, there's like, I agree. But there's a lot going on. It's like, because it's like, I want to like get all our, I guess, classic Tall Tale stuff out in this new format, so then I can go back to finishing up Tears of the Mother with kind of like a clear conscience. So it's like we can have, so it's like all of like everything that we've ever done for Tall Tales finally in print properly. So that's kind of like what we're planning right now. And so I would still have to finish Tears of the Mother. That story arc, like I have 2 more issues left on that. And then, and it's like, so it's finishing that and EGORAVEN at the same time. So that's also another reason why I'm really rethinking my schedule. Here we go. So I find it hard to do the ones I do in the year when you look at the overall results. Sometimes I feel that some campaigns are not worth it for release schedule. You see, and that's also another thing too to take into consideration, because it's like, whether your campaign makes $1,000 or $10,000 or $100,000, I mean, it's a lot of work to maintain, to run a campaign and to be constantly doing the grind that a campaign requires. So that's why, and it's like, and that's something, because here's the thing, right? So my last campaign, this is kind of like, so my last campaign did 8.4, right? 8,400. So I have this next campaign coming up. Now here's the thing. Is it reasonable for me to think that I can make the same amount of money on an individual issue that I did on a trade paperback? Technically it's not reasonable for me to have any expectation on my next campaign. If we're, if I take, if I take lessons from the Stoics, seriously, it's like all I can do is just put the campaign out, do the best I can, but there is no guarantee on the results. I have no right to expectations of the results. It's like the fates will give me what I'm allotted, so, but the thing is, though, at the same time, I can't help but think about it, It's like, oh, I'm not fussing, I'm strategizing. No, there comes a point where I'm fussing, and there's nothing that I could do about it. It's like, it's like I'm going to have, I have the, I'm going to have everything available, the trade paperback and everything available as add-ons. I'm going to have Tall Tales available on it. I'm going to have 4 variant covers that are going to be available on it. 5, if depending on how it does, how the campaign is doing. There might be a 5th variant cover that I might drop somewhere near the end. And here's the thing too, on top of it, there are other things that, like, there's another book that I want to do, a one shot that I want to do, that I have to find room on the schedule, which I can't do if the way I'm running it. There's these House of Bob sketchbooks that I want to start putting out. I want to get back into putting out more furry sketchbooks. So there's that. So yeah, it's a little beyond. Yeah, it's a little beyond the multi-series shuffle. Not only am I doing Tall Tales, I'm not only am I doing EGORAVEN, there's still Tall Tales for me to finish. Then there's also House of Bob for me to put in there as well. It's like, and then, like I said, there's this one shot that I want to do. That if it works, you guys are gonna love it. But I actually have to, it's a whole thing. And it's like, so Joe, to go back to what you were mentioning, so so here's the thing, though. Here's the other thing. If I can get my campaigns to make 5 figures, I'm about to say 6, no, 5 figures regularly, do I need to do that many campaigns? It's like, yeah, it's like, are you better off doing 5, like 5 $1,000 campaigns or 1 $5,000 campaign? If I can get my campaigns to reach 10K, 10,000, I almost don't want to say it out loud, no, you can always, no, you can always contact me, bro. Because that's part of the scheduling too. There's all this. Like I said, I'm doing commissions right now. So yes, so if you want another cover, feel free. Contact me. We'll talk. There's always but that's the thing. That's why I'm really rethinking my schedule. Look at that. I didn't even realize I had left myself out, full screen. Look at that. It's like all that whole time. So yeah, so that's the thing, though. So if I can get my campaigns to reach 5 figures, do I need to do as many? I know that I've joked in the past that if my campaigns are making $10,000 regularly, I'd be figuring out a way to do one every month. And I'm like going, you know what? Maybe that's not the best idea. If I was making, $10,000 per campaign, then yeah, technically I should be able to do less but offer more. You know, that's kind of what I'm trying to figure out right now. You know? Yeah, that's kind of where I'm trying to cuz yeah, that's my dilemma, people. That's my dilemma. So that's the thing, that's the stuff that I have to consider. Why do I want to put out these campaigns so quickly? You know, am I hurting myself by putting multiple issues on the same campaign? You know, it's like, you know, is doing less but offering more a better alternative to running as many campaigns as let's see, even if I were doing 5-figure campaigns, it's still not helping sales on online stores. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's like, I know that you had asked us to talk about that, and yeah, I honestly, I kind of think that's like two different things, bro. Like, honestly, it's like, you know, my, like, Kickstarter honestly does dick for my store, online store. You know, I mean, it's like, and that's the thing too, but maybe it's like, because that's the thing. It's like, I think that people would rather wait for a Kickstarter than to buy things on my store. And I have a lot, and I'm pretty sure it has a lot to do with the convenience of already having a Kickstarter account and being able to shop all these comics all at once on one account, than buying 50 comics, but having to make 50 accounts for each individual creator. Honestly, if there is kind of yeah, it's like, if there's like something that's getting in the way of, like, you know, crowdfunding, and then your ultimate goal of like more wider distribution is the convenience factor. You know, like, I think that probably, like, instead of like getting your stuff in your local comic book shop, like, I think that putting your stuff on Amazon might be more feasible. This is all theory. You know, I don't know. I don't have. I haven't had anything on Amazon. I know we've tried Kindle for a bit. I don't think, nothing's ever really come of that. But then again, we never really made a serious go of it. Last I checked, and mind you, this was years ago, if you wanted to open up an Amazon store to put your own stuff on it, you had to make $40 worth of sales a month. I think you had to pay $40 a month just to have the store. And then you had to make $40 worth of sales to keep it open. Because if you're not selling anything, they don't want your store open. They will close your store down. I tried doing an affiliate thing with Amazon, and that didn't work out. They ended up closing my affiliate link thing. because like, oh, you're not making X amount. You have to make X amount of sales to have affiliate links, and that's why I don't have affiliate links anymore. So so that's kind of, because I think that people would be more willing to buy your stuff off of Amazon because they're buying something else already. As opposed to, oh, you have to go to your local comic book shop. And it's like, and here's the thing, if people are like me right now, they ain't going nowhere. What's funny is that one of our local comic book shops is closing. And we have a Midtown Comics outlet, but that's only open on the weekends. But they don't offer new stuff there. It's just an outlet. It's like we go there for me to buy supplies and for Jose to buy whatever the 99-cent books that he's rescuing from their boxes. So it's not like, so yeah, I would think that would be a better avenue for you rather than like trying to go more, like traditional, like, but yeah, I mean, I have a hard time getting people to my shop as well. I mean, I can't remember the last time I sold something through that, but Kickstarter, yeah, I can sell shit through Kickstarter. I've sold more Tall Tales trade paperbacks through Kickstarter through the last EGORAVEN campaign than I ever did on my shop. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, let's see. Let's see. Yeah, it's like if I actually get my act together, I'm thinking of just doing a manga style collection at this point. Yeah. I mean, it's like, yeah, just go straight to trades. I mean, it just depends on, in the end, it's like, like what you're doing this for and what you hope to accomplish, Are you hurting yourself? That's hard to say. Ultimately, fans will demand more, faster, sooner, with more action. Yeah, you see, and that's kind of the thing too, that it's not that I've been having issues with that, but I kind of feel like with more campaigns, it means it's more campaigns where I have to top myself, and and it's like, I'm kind of like, if I just like, it's probably better for me to do like 2 or 3 like event campaigns rather than 5 standard campaigns. That's where I'm kind of leaning at. Where it's like I do a campaign and you're able to get all this crazy shit on this campaign, but this is like the only time you can get it. I mean, it's like, whether it's variant covers or special things or whatnot. Like I'm proofing some stuff right now. It's like, yeah, and it's like, if I only do a Kickstarter 3 times a year, yeah, I think people will pay more attention to the launch page because of that. Let's see. Going beyond that, you risk failing to meet your output goals, and that results in delivery failure. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Let me see. You said you've been burned. You instinctively boycott. Right. Yeah. Let's see. And then Joe was talking about after being on Comixology and Amazon for a decade and having an online store, it seems like no one is following. Yeah, no, that's what we had. We had that same problem when we were on Comixology and Kindle as well. It's like I don't know. Well, yeah, it's true. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's the thing. I haven't been able to really figure it out myself either, as to, why people would rather buy your books on one thing but not another. that they'd rather buy your books on Kickstarter, than on Kindle, or Amazon. So yeah, that's yeah, that whole shop thing. Yeah, I really. What's funny is that that's something that Jose has been talking about lately. Trying to expand that reach beyond Kickstarter. And it's like, yeah, it's like everyone's just trying to figure out, like, okay, and the thing is that I think that's a good thing to do, but at the same time, it's like I don't see kicks like everyone's trying to like I guess like prepare for a time when Kickstarter is not feasible. Um, I don't quite see that happening anytime soon, but it's like with all like MySpace doesn't exist anymore, pretty much, or at least not the way it used to be. So, um, I know that I think that it's foolish to think that if Kickstarter disappears, there's not going to be any more crowdfunding. I think that's ridiculous. Um, but at the same time, it's like, I can understand people going, well, what if there wasn't Kickstarter? What do we do? How do we transfer our audience over? Because I know that some creators are also experimenting with selling off of their own websites, like having crowdfunding on their own websites. And it's tough going. It's tough. Only very specific people right now are able to do it. I'm not saying it's not possible, but I think that yeah, that's going to be a tough sell for a while, unless it's like there's a way for crowdfunding on your own website to be a lot easier for people to, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, you know what, Joe? Your guess is as good as mine, honestly. Yeah, it's like you, I was doing this for crowdfunding was a thing. I haven't abandoned the other methods of reaching people. It's about bridging it. Yeah, that's or it's about accepting the fact that we might be dealing with completely different audiences depending on the type of point of sale we're doing. That's the thing. Maybe it's not about bridging people, like bridging them all together. Maybe that's something to think about. That it's like, what, people who are on Kickstarter, they're on there for a reason, and that's where they're going to stay. People who support you on your own website, those are different people. People who are on your mailing list, those are different people. It's a different, they're different audiences, and all of them need, like, I guess, like, their own strategy. And it's like, that's a lot of brain power. That's almost too much brain power. At least, I mean, it's like, honestly, I'm actually kind of glad that Jose thinks about this more than I do, or that, because it's like, I can barely think about what I need to think about now, and then think about the hypotheticals of what he's thinking about. It's like, look, just tell me what you need to do and I'll do it. But yeah, it's, I don't know. Oh my goodness. So yeah, that's so. Oh, here we are. We're just hitting the 2 hour mark. My did I shut off my alarm? Yeah, I think I shut off my alarm. So yeah, so here we are at the 2 hour mark. And as always, I didn't finish a page. I didn't finish my piece on the stream. But of course, I'm going to finish this once I'm off the air. So because that needs to this needs to get done. So regardless, I have to try to get up till page 16 by the weekend, so that I can send these to the flatters and be technically halfway done with issue 7. So that's what I'm hoping to do. I mean, honestly, whatever pages I have for the weekend, even if it's not up to 16, I'll probably just send it to her anyway. Like I said, I don't know how I'm going to color this when I finally get to it. So, okay, so here we go. So let me just, so here we have it. Here's the page as it is so far. Yeah, are these streams really about finishing anything? Yeah, I think, yeah, it's like I've always said that these streams they're kind of like, they're more like convention style rather than work style. You're watching me ink. We're having a conversation. Today was a really good conversation. I have to thank everybody for joining in and putting in their 2 cents, especially you, Patrick, and Joe D. It's like, yeah, it's just like, it's just conversational style. Maybe I'll get work finished, maybe I won't, but definitely after the stream, I'm going to be finishing up this page. So it's not like, it's not like things don't get done. It's just they don't just get done on screen. So okay, so let me, so here we have it. Page 11. Like I said, that's going to be finished. I want to get up to page 16 by this weekend. But we'll see. It's like I don't want to completely pressure myself, but at the same time, pressure is good, right? I mean, it's like I still need to get these pages done. So there we go. So yay. So there we have it. Another 2 hours. Man, these streams actually go by pretty fast. I do have to admit. So you guys keep me talking, and we're working, and yeah, it's like, I still couldn't do like a 5-hour stream though. I know when we interviewed Visenia on the show last Friday, I mean, it's like we're talking about like she does 4 or 5-hour streams, pretty much every day, but she finishes her work. And I'm like, oh, that's too much. I don't know what is it with being like, technically I should be able to do that too, but there's just something, I don't know. But then again, maybe I'm just off today. It's like I said, I've been feeling a little bit gray. So maybe it's like yeah, I just need to reconsider a lot of things, and yeah, definitely the schedule, but that's, I guess that's like the question of the day, right? Which it's like, so how does, it's like, yeah, it's like, which is more, doing more campaigns better, or should I take that chance of like maybe making less money on doing less campaigns, but offering more per campaign? But technically, would that mean I would technically make more money on a campaign if I did that? Like if I did 3 campaigns a year, but offered a lot more, multiple issues or something like that, would that be better for me? Or should I just do individual issues, but maybe like do no more than 4 a year? I mean, how am I going to fit in all this stuff that I want to do? But that's the thing that I got to consider. That's it's like, you know what? You have to grind no matter what, right? But grinding all the time is, I guess, the real problem that we're talking about. It's like there comes a point where you have that, diminishing returns. It's like, yeah, it's like I'm grinding, 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 but if it kind of affects how I'm able to do the work, or I have to, or I'm working on less work to do more campaigns, am I really grinding for the right reasons? It's like, if it's really about the money, it's like I've always said before that it's like, you know what, if it was just about the money, it'd be easier for me to go get a job. You know, um, I mean, and in the end, it's like, what am I doing Kickstarters for? Is it really just about the money, or is it about putting out these comics, these stories that I'm desperate to tell? And yeah, and that's what it kind of feels like, that I'm desperate to tell these stories, but the way the schedule works out, I cannot tell them fast enough, by getting them out. So, that's a very good question, Patrick. Have your campaigns been increasing by the raw number of people you're bringing in, or by getting the same number of people willing to pay more? I mean, me and Jose were just having that conversation, and it's like, yeah, that's the thing. On my previous, on my volume 1 campaign, I made more money, but on essentially the same people, not the same people, but the same amount of backers. My backers didn't go up, but my monetary value did. Which is not necessarily a good thing, because the whole point is getting more people to support the campaigns. Because, let's see, if people aren't willing or able to pay more, than offering more may be a loser's game. It's better than to try to simply grow the audience by greater basic output. Yeah, that's where I'm thinking that it's like, maybe it's not about quantity in terms of how many campaigns can I do a year, but the quality of those individual campaigns. Like, if I have like 3 really good campaigns that attracts more backers because there's only 3 of them, I mean, that technically should be a better goal for me than putting out more campaigns where I'm pretty much averaging the same amount of backers each campaign. So yeah, it's a lot to think about. And I'm sure anybody who's running who runs crowdfunding campaigns, you're thinking about this too. So it's like, so I hope that my thinking out loud can at least, kind of like either give you an idea, or kind of like, I don't know, kind of like tell you that's like, okay, you're not the only one thinking this way, and all that. So, but yeah, that's something that, yeah, for next year I have to seriously think about it. It's like, my goals for the campaigns, like I said, is to tell these stories. And with each campaign is me telling a story, is me continuing telling that story. So, but the thing is, though, is that, do I tell more story in less campaigns? Can I do that? Would more people show up if they knew I didn't have that many campaigns? But the campaign that I did offered a lot more. I mean, that's really what I have to think about for next year. And it's like, and the thing is, though, it's like, it's kind of not like I have a lot of time to think about it. I mean, it's like, we're already mid-October, before we know it, it's going to be December like that. And it's like, holy shit, am I going to run a campaign in January or not? So that's, yeah. So that's where I'm at right now. And again, it's not just about the campaigns. I still have to do all the work that goes into these campaigns, the actual comic books that I'm selling on these campaigns. So, like I said, food for thought. So there, Yeah. So you know what? It's like, so yeah. So if you're watching this video later, and you're kind of thinking about it, so yeah. So tell me in the comments down below, it's like, what are your thoughts on this? It's like, is it more, is it quantity? Is it quality? Which actually is going to work better, for what, I mean, we're all doing here on crowdfunding. Like, what is your motivation on crowdfunding? And like, and how do you schedule your books around that? And how do you schedule that? And yes, and hopefully by the next time I do my stream, I would have gotten, I would have gotten a haircut at least. I really do need to get a haircut. Look at these split ends. They're awful. So I really got to get out of the house. That's what it is. It's like I said, it's like, if I can't get my shit together grinding this much, then what's the point, right? No falling apart. That's all I have to. Hey, Grant. Hey, Grant. Hello. You're hitting me just at the end here, so I hope that you catch the rest of the show on a replay, and maybe you have some input into my what I'm going through. So here we are at the end of another live stream. Thank you so much for joining me. I'd like to thank everybody in the chat: Melissa, Jody, Patrick, Dojo, Nita. You all know who you are. Thank you so much for listening and being in the chat and adding to the conversation. And I'd like to thank the 7 people who spent the entire 2 hours with me. Thank you so much for watching the show. I hope maybe you are working along with me, and we're just having this conversation. It's like, I hope you learned something from it. If you're doing a campaign or you're planning on doing a campaign, I hope that this adds a lot of food for thought to what you're planning on doing. Hello, Arwolf. Hello, caught you at the very end right there. So it's like, yeah, just want to make sure I acknowledge everybody before I go. So on that note, here we are at the end. And if you want to see more, you want to learn more about my stuff and what I do, about my comics, about my crowdfunding, about what I'm talking about all this time, you're going to head on over to my main portfolio site at egoworks.com, EGOWRKS. You can find links to all of my social media, but you can get some of them here. My main ones are here. But I mostly post to Facebook if you are into seeing sketches and current work in progress updates, and don't forget to check me out on YouTube if you're watching this from Twitter, or you find my link on Facebook. Come on over to YouTube. It's like, just smash all the buttons. Do whatever it is you need to do with all the buttons. Like, subscribe, share, the whole 9 yards. Hit the notification bell so that you get notified whenever I go live on my own channel at Daphne Lage Art, when I'm simulcasting through the Indie Comics Network, where you'll get notified for a lot of we have something every day practically going live on the Indie Comics Network, so you won't miss a thing. So yes, I hit that notification bell so you won't miss a thing. And and don't forget, you can also read the first 5 issues of EGORAVEN, Heir the First Unicorn, in its original black and white format. You have until the end of the year before I swap all those old ass pages out for the new and improved official Kickstarter color versions. So if you're the type that likes to compare old versions, new versions, just to see what little differences that I made, this is your last chance. You have until the end of the year to do that. So yes, you can read it in its original black and white format, but if you prefer your fantasy to be more of a furry Lord of the Rings adventure, you can follow the link back to Tall Tales, TAILSonline.com, and read the first 20 issues of Tall Tales for free. And on either of those websites, don't forget to sign up for our monthly newsletter, where you can get free comic PDFs just for joining, and you get all the info about all the campaigns that are coming up, all the new projects and whatnot. But like everything, Links are in the show notes below, and especially don't forget to check out all of the other crowdfunders that are in that I have listed below as well. So again, thank you so much for joining me, and I will see everybody again on the next Wednesday. But I'll definitely see everybody on Friday at 11 a.m. with Nita Lanning. We will have Chad Perkins on with his crowdfunder, with his Kickstarter for the Legend of Sparkle Dog. Don't say a woo. So yeah, again, link to that is if you want to see what the heck am I talking about. That link is also in the show notes below. So thank you so much, and I will see everybody later. Bye.
You really want to know my process?
Absolutely.
Usually starts with a holla and ends with a creamsicle.
And then if there's time in between, Thundercats.